Hello YouTube! Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to tackle a topic that a lot of people need to learn about, need to start incorporating it into their lives. So many people don't do this and they really should. You'll be able to tell by the title of the video and the thumbnail that I've made a bit of a shift for the channel. I set out to kind of vlog the PhD experience, and I'm still going to do that. But last week I made a video about debt and how our culture approaches it. That was a big one for me. I'm so passionate about that. I really want to take this channel in a direction where I feel like I'm actually helping to clear up some misconceptions about money. So we're going to be shifting, at least for a little while, onto a lot of personal finance topics. Today, the topic, budgeting. Hold on. Wait, please don't go. The B word gets a horrible rap. People approach it like it's restrictive, it shackles you, you can't do anything because it's not in the budget. Look, all a budget is a plan. That's how I want you to approach this video. It's really simple. If you'd make a plan for school, getting your assignments done, if you'd make a plan for a trip, so you didn't just go overseas to a country for 2 weeks and not do anything. You need to make a plan for your money. You make a grocery list, why won't you make a plan? It's easy. Here's how we're going to break this down. I'm going to explain what a budget is, really quickly, how to do one, and then 3 tips that I think is going to help you a whole lot. A lot of these tips, they're going to be geared for young people, so bear with me. If you're older than that, you're not off the hook. They still count. Okay, here's a budget. You're going to sit down at the beginning of the month, and you're going to say, what is my income? What amount of money do I have to spend? Then you're going to go and look at what are my expenses. For example, if I'm in college and I've already paid up my dorm, tuition, all of my school expenses are paid, you've got meal plan covered, you look at what you have to spend, even if you're making $10 an hour, working retail or working on an on-campus job, you look at it and you say, okay, I have $400 to spend this month. That's step 1. Step 2, you look at all of your expenses. You're going to look at it like, hey, in the example of you're an adult with a full-time job, you're going to have rent, you're going to have utilities, you're going to have internet. You list out all of your expenses that you know are coming up. You list out your savings. You list out any other items that aren't necessary but you want to incorporate. This is where budgeting is completely misunderstood. People think of it as you can't do anything or have any fun because you're on a budget. Actually, a budget helps with those things. A budget is sitting down at the beginning of the month to plan for. If my wife and I wanted to go out, we sit down and we put aside money for that so that when it comes time, we're not having to frantically check to make sure that we have money to go out. That's already been set aside so we can have a stress-free date night. And if you're in college, and I'm a nerd, so I'll use the example. If a brand new video game's coming out and you know that's going to be $59.99 plus tax hitting your wallet, wouldn't that just be awful on release day when you're trying to get it and you can't because you don't have any money? Look, all it is a plan. So, step 1, look at your income. Write it down. Step 2, list all of your expenses and anything you want to get done in the month. That includes utilities, necessary expenses for living, your savings, and your spending money. Step 3, make it equal 0. Income minus expenses equals 0. That's something called a zero-based budget. It's that easy. I'm telling you guys. It's not difficult at all. And anyone that tells you it's opposite of that, they'll give you a complicated spreadsheet. They'll give you a tool that just looks like, why would I ever want to put a budget in this? There are lots of really easy ways. You can do it on a sheet of notebook paper on the first of every month. It shouldn't take you more than a few minutes. It's not difficult. It'll really help keep an eye on what you plan to have in that month as far as expenses go. And it frees you up for stress-free nights. Stress-free days and nights when you want to go out or you want to go eat some Whataburger. Shout out. I miss you, Whataburger. Anyway, it makes it easier to do those things because you plan for them. They're stress-free. You already know you've set the money aside for them. There's nothing more stressful than not having a plan, and then you want to go get a burger and you have to frantically check your phone to make sure you have money in the bank. College kids, you got to get on a budget. You have to make it happen. It's super important. It's super easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to have a full-time salary. It's not hard. Now that that's out of the way, I want to give you 3 tips as a young person to help you with your budgeting and managing your finances on a day-to-day basis. Number 1, find out what type of budget works for you. There are going to be people that have spreadsheets on spreadsheets on spreadsheets down to the most minute of details with formulas to calculate and subtract for you and have recommended percentages. That's not necessary. If that's something you want to do, go for it. But my wife and I, she does a great job she actually does our budget and it's handwritten. We just have a simple form. Actually, let me see if I can get it. Got it. Look. That's very simple. All we do is we have a bunch of these printed out, and when it comes time, we actually do ours bi-weekly before every single paycheck. Go through, write the income at the top, and subtract as you go. When you hit 0 and you have all of your expenses covered, you're done. That's it. So, you got a spreadsheet. You can do it electronically. You can do it by hand. My wife does a great job of this, and it works for us. Or, something else I can recommend, find a good app. It's quick, it's easy, and that will even remind you. If you get busy and you're not remembering to check your budget to remind yourself, man, am I going over here? If you have a good app, I recommend EveryDollar. Super easy to use. I'll leave a link to it in the description. All you got to do, download the app, fill out the budget, and bada bing, bada boom, scaramouche. You're good. It's going to remind you. Tip number 2. Find an accountability partner. It sounds a lot heavier than it is, but find someone that you trust. It can be your roommate. It can be a family member. And it does not have to be super heavy and deep. You just need to have someone that you can say, okay, here's my plan. And if you notice that I'm starting to go off the rails a little bit, say something. Find an accountability partner. Show what you're thinking of doing with them. It's really easy. It's not deep. People are scared to show their numbers, but trust me. If it's someone you trust, you don't need to worry about that. I'll give you an example for us. My wife, she makes the budget, and we have a budget meeting before every paycheck where we will sit down and review every item. If we want to take away from somewhere, like if we want to go on a date night and we just each have frivolous spending money we're going to get, we might subtract out of there and put more money into entertainment or eating out so that we can have a nicer date night. It's super easy. It's super quick. Find someone you trust. Find someone who cares about you and you care about them. And tell them. Share it with them. And if they do it, have them share it with you. It works great when you're held accountable to somebody. It makes it that much easier to say no when you know you need to. Tip number 3. If you do not have a full-time job or a regular, steady source of income, don't sweat it. All you need to do is plan a safe estimate for what you're going to bring in that month. If you're in college working part-time at a retail establishment and there's a break in that month, just do some quick back-of-the-napkin math. It doesn't need to be too stressful. You don't need to overthink it. And if you don't have a job, but say you're just living off some extra refund check money from school, no sweat. Just divide that up and make sure it's an amount that you can sustain on and do your budget quickly. As young people, it seems like these things are complicated, sophisticated, but don't wait. Don't wait to get started on that and build these habits now, because trust me, when you are out in the real world and you start having all of the expenses and responsibilities that entails, it's going to take such a load off to know that you are financially comfortable and that you know what you need to do financially to be successful, be stable, and prosper. Okay, quick review. A budget, simple. Income minus expenses, and you want it to equal zero. A zero-based budget. Every single dollar has a name. That's what's important here, and that's what we're getting after. And then 3 tips for you guys to implement your budget and stick to it. Number 1, find out what works for you. Whether that's writing it down on a sheet of notebook paper with a T-chart, getting a great app like Every Dollar that's going to track it for you and send you notifications when you're getting a little close and you still have some days left before the next income comes in, or a complicated spreadsheet. Just find out what works for you. Number 2, find an accountability partner to share with. It just needs to be someone you trust, and you need to be able to say, here's my plan. If you see that I'm getting a little bit out of control, say something. Let them know. If you're married, it's built in. You've already got it there. If you're single, find someone you trust. It can be your best friend, it can be your roommate, it can be a family member. Just find someone you trust and share with them your plan for whatever period you're budgeting for. It's that simple. Tip number 3. If you don't have a full-time job, you're too young and you're in school, or you don't have a job at all and so your income is really irregular, no worries. Just estimate what you know is a safe bet that you're going to have and is going to cover all of your basic expenses, and then go from there. As you bring things in, adjust your budget as you go. It doesn't need to be overthought, and the word gets such a bad rap, but hopefully this cleared some things up, cleared some of the misconceptions up. It's really, really easy. And I feel like you're going to look on YouTube at all these long videos that show you spreadsheets. It can be done with back of the napkin 4th grade math. It's simple addition and subtraction. And it's just a plan. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a like. Hit that thumbs up button down below. It lets YouTube know that you liked it and to share with other people that might like it as well. Also, if you're not subscribed, hit that button. I'm going to be posting a lot more content like this and going through a lot of important things, especially if you're young and you don't have a lot of knowledge about personal finance. It's not difficult. Trust me. Super simple, super straightforward. Finance is so easy. Head knowledge, maybe 10, 20%. The rest of it is behavior and making sure you stick up to it. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions, anything you want to see from me, any questions, especially concerning this. You have a question about money, ask it. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to come up with one. I'll research and I'll find it out. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to come back with you guys for the next one. Stay tuned. Make sure you got your notifications on because it's going to be coming. As always, do something good for somebody today. See ya.